Well, hi everybody. Father Alex here again. I am the vicar of St Matthew's Church in Burnley. I'm also the host of the Godcast, and I'm also the author of Our Daily Bread from Argos to the Altar of Priest story, which is out now and available from Amazon and all good bookshops. My guest today on the Godcast is Ian McNabb. Ian McNabb is a singer-songwriter whose early career started as the frontman for the band The Icicle Works and has gone on to have a number of albums as a solo artist, and he's performed up and down the country. So I really hope you enjoy this interview with Ian McNabb. If you do, then please subscribe. There's lots of other musicians and writers and authors, politicians, you name it. There's something for everybody. So do please subscribe. But for now, enjoy this interview with Ian McNabb.
Well,
Well, Ian, it's fabulous to welcome you to the Godcast. How are you?
I'm okay. A few health issues, but apparently that's what happens when you get to a certain age.
Yeah.
And I'm on it. I'm on it. Feeling good. Making lots of records. Just working on this thing called Fleetwood McNabb, which is my takes on Fleetwood Mac songs. So yeah, very exciting. Keeping busy.
Have you got a schedule for that, Ian? Have you got an idea when that'll be out and people can hear it?
No.
Is that how you like it? Do you just kind of
Um, I mean, I like to make sure that my supporters are well supported. I, I don't know. It'll be done when it's done.
yeah, yeah. Ian, I've just in the middle of a bit of time off work. I've managed to get January off work, and I've been going through my old vinyl records. I've got an old Technics record deck over my shoulder, and it's been really quite nostalgic looking back at some of the songs that shaped me and that I feel were influential to me. What songs were influential to you? You know, and I know there's always like there's always bands of a certain generation, aren't there, like the Beatles, whatever. But are there songs that stick in your mind?
What you mean, songs that influenced me?
Yeah, as a kid, I mean, you know, like when you were a teenager.
Well, very much David Bowie and Mark Bolan. Uh, yeah, it's like when I heard Get It On and Metal Guru and Telegram Sam. That really inspired me when I heard Starman, and a few others. Yeah. Uh, well, do you know what, Alex? It was like I didn't really know what to do at that point. All my friends were into football, and I was into that in a little bit. And then just music just arrived.
Mm.
A blessing from heaven, Alex. Truly, truly a blessing from heaven.
Yeah.
And just went, and I just went, well, I'm gonna do this, aren't I? And it was like, oh, you'll never make any money, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't care about making money, really. I just want to do what I find interesting. And I went down that path, and do you know what, Alex? It's like that was when I was 12,
Yeah.
and I'm now 63, and I'm still here doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm great.
I really like what you said about, you know, music just arriving. That happened for me. I mean, I didn't go on and become a musician in any, but the music, that music arriving at my doorstep for me, it was kind of the new romantic era. You know, I'm a huge Depeche Mode fan, and some of those songs really shaped my thinking and made me dig deeper. How did that music arriving for you lead to becoming a musician? Did you kind of go to your parents and say, I need a guitar, I want lessons? How did it evolve for you?
Well, as you just described it there, Alex, my my parents were, I'm an only child, spoiled rotten, so they were very encouraging. And I went, I quite fancy doing this. Well, if you're going to do that, you're going to do it properly. So they sent me to guitar lessons. They sent me to theory lessons. And do you know what? I couldn't have been happier. They were so supportive. Um, and I really do have to say that, because I do have friends that didn't get that level of support that I did, Uh, and it was like they were like, yes, do it this way, do it properly. Um, and here we are, you know, and just sadly, my mum passed recently, and it's been very hard for me because we were so close. My dad died when I was young, but one thing that comes into my mind, Alex, is I go, they really gave me every chance possible, and I don't think that you can be lucky at that.
No, that's also a blessing from heaven in many ways, isn't it? To have, sadly, my work, some of the families I meet, they're not always blessed with what you've just described. So it is a blessing in many ways.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So you meet these families that don't have the kids don't have the support, and
yeah,
it's like some of my very closest friends, Alex, and this really disturbs me. They go, oh well, I opened this bar, but my dad didn't say anything nice about it, and they never get any support, and that really is quite upsetting to me. I always got support and a good kick in as well. It's like my mum would be like, hey, I'd be writing a new tune, and she'd go like, bum 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 bum. I'd be down in my cell, and she'd go, sounds like Bob Dylan, sounds like Neil Young, write one of your own, But it worked on every way, and supportive, and just do you know what, Alex? I feel so blessed by
yeah,
good Lord above, which, by the way, I do believe, and to have that level of support was it. It was a beautiful thing. Beautiful.
yeah. Just touching on the faith aspect, Ian, were the family religious? Are you happy to say, were you involved with church or,
Well,
a person of a certain generation?
I'm a Catholic. They weren't too bothered about it, and neither was I. But I tell you what, Alex, I pray, and I still am a Catholic. I know that people have a problem with that. Um, do you know what, Alex? You gotta believe in something, and I believe in him.
Yeah.
And I don't like religious zealots. I think it's caused a lot of problems, as
Mm.
we're seeing. There's a lot of people getting killed because of that kind of stuff. But do you know what, Alex? I When I go to bed every night, I say the Lord's Prayer, and it gives me comfort.
Yeah.
Can I tell you why? I've no idea. I've no idea, but you've got to believe in something, and I firmly do believe.
I think what you said will resonate with loads of people. I've not always been a churchgoer, and when I was a kid, I used to say the Lord's Prayer, and I don't know why. I can't even remember where I learnt it from. Probably school, and just as you described, it gave me comfort, and somehow that led to me getting a dog collar. But that's a different story. But I was wondering if your faith influences your writing, Ian, and if so, how?
Well, very much so. I try not to be preachy. I'm not Bono or The Edge. But I don't tell people. I don't think you should tell people what to think. But if you're interested in my music, it's my thing is it's just like I try to spread the love, positivity. Um, do you know what? You've got me thinking there. I
Ian,
say,
do you think it will? I don't want to pry into your private life, but you said you lost your mum. Do you think that will be unpacked in your writing? If not yet, then somewhere down the line.
I've no idea really. To be honest with you, I'm trying to think of something clever to say. Um, look, let me put it this way. I don't think we're here by accident. I don't know if it was the aliens or if it was the Great Spirit or what. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know, do we? We don't know. But I choose to believe that this. How can you not believe? It's like when I go to bed at night, I go, "Thank you, baby Jesus, for my life." And I don't think of myself as a religious person, but thank you, baby Jesus. And I don't know if that stuff in the books was real or nobody knows. But I think, Alex, the whole idea of, this all being random is, no, it's not random.
No, no.
Um, the creator, God, I sound all religious now. What have you got me doing?
You sound more religious than me, Ian, but it's fine. It's lovely. It's
Well,
fascinating to hear your thoughts.
honestly, Alex, I do, I believe, and I can get emotional about it. It's just like sometimes I can just I go, somebody's sorting this out, somebody's thinking about me, somebody's being kind to me, and if I'm a bad person, I get punished, and if I'm a good person, I get treated well, and I can feel there's something. Look at me, I'm all upset now. I can feel that there's something there, and
Mm.
if there wasn't something there, I don't know how to be able to cope with it. And in a positive way, that does influence my songwriting. And when I've finished a song, I go, thanks. It may sound a little bit pretentious to say this, but I don't think I can claim responsibility for writing that song. I can claim a little bit, but somebody else did it,
Yeah.
and it was that I call it the Great Spirit.
It's fascinating stuff. This interview is far deeper than I expected it to be, but I'm very happy to just pursue this because I personally think we're all given individual gifts, and that comes from somewhere. For me, that gift is from above, and your gift is clearly songwriting. So do you see it as a I get the feeling you don't necessarily see what you do as a career, Ian, but you see it maybe more as a vocation, more as a as an experience for others. Would you just unpack that a bit for us if you can?
Well, as a career, I've never, I've never thought about it in any way. Career, that's just like that's about money. I don't see it as that way. I mean, Alex, listen, I'm sitting here talking to you today. You know, I've had a few health issues, and I'm getting better, and I'm writing songs, and well, do you know what? I've just done this thing called Fleetwood McNabb, which is my versions of Fleetwood McNabb songs, and I've put the pre-orders up, and an incredible amount of very wonderful people have, you know, pre-ordered it, and that means I can pay my bills, and and God bless them for that. You know, that's so kind. Um, so I don't really know what else to say. You know,
Do you know, you've got me just thinking in about, this whole idea of a career. I don't know if you're familiar with the band the Milltown Brothers.
oh
They're a group of guys from my neck of the woods around East
yeah,
Lancashire.
what a great band.
Yeah. And I was chatting to Simon Nelson from the Milltown Brothers came on, and he was talking about, the difficulties, and they had a successful first album, probably not dissimilar to you with the Icicle Works. Um, and then it kind of the kind of, if career is the right word, or the success of sales numbers fell away a bit. But he was very pragmatic about it, and reflected on it that he'd had 30 odd years in music, and it was still giving him these great highs. Is that how you approach things, Ian, or
Well,
or differently?
you know what, Alex, I, I don't do it for the money. And what you said there was very interesting. So they had one album that the Milltown Brothers had one record that was successful, and then it was a bit hard work for them. Well, what I will say is this, Alex. Don't get into this if you want to make money and be successful. Do it if you love it, and that's what I do. And fortunately, and God bless, thank you, baby Jesus. Fortunately, I've managed to make enough money that I can keep going. But and I've been lucky in that respect. But even if I didn't make money, I would still do it, because it's a cliched phrase. Music is its own reward. And, there's nothing greater than when you've written a song or you've done a good show. There's nothing better.
I think that's a great message to young bands. I A few years back I went to Tramlines Festival in Sheffield, and went to spent most of my time in the BBC introducing stage, and there was some wonderful young musicians. But if they're going into it for music, they're perhaps going into the wrong industry now, aren't they? Because for these young guys, it's not easy to make
Well,
money, is it?
yes. It's like it's very difficult to make money these days. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I don't make a lot of money, but I make enough. And I'm very grateful for that. And it's like I said, music is its own reward. If you get paid for it, great. But if you don't, that's okay as well.
Yeah. Can I ask this question, Ian? And you can tell me to sod off. If was the end of the Icicle Works a good thing for Ian McNabb, or was it a bad thing for Ian McNabb?
Good question. It was awful. And I was reading a thing, a Beatles book. Have you seen the Get Back thing that the guy that did Lord of the Rings, what was his name, Peter Jackson? He did this documentary and he found all the footage about when the Beatles were breaking up. And there was some footage in there that I'd never seen, and none of us had ever seen, when Paul McCartney realised that his band was finished. And you can see he looks devastated. And I was the same way, because, I'd been with those guys from 1980 till I think it was 88. And, we were a little family and, we loved each other. I certainly loved them. I hope they loved me. And it was devastating. It really was devastating. It's like the end of a relationship with, well, we were a three-piece. So it was like finishing with two girlfriends for me. I find it quite difficult to talk about,
Mm.
And was I upset? Yes. But, you bounce back, don't you? I mean, Alex, I'll be honest with you. I've recently lost my mother. And it's just been unbelievably hard, about as hard as it was leaving my band and them leaving me. This is the best interview you've ever done.
Well, I'm passionate about music, Ian. I'm not. My dad was a pianist. I'm not gifted in that way, but I love chatting to musicians. I chatted to Rick Witter from Shed 7 about their breakup and how it was very traumatic for him as well. And then one of the guys, the drummer, picked the phone up and said, "Why don't we just have a beer?" And I noticed you've got some dates lined up with Big Country, haven't you? And is it is it is this hope to be a celebration then when you get back together with certain individuals? I know there's been different guys from the band that you've hooked up with over the years, hasn't there? Is it a celebration or can it be?
Um, well, do you know what? I think that it's a celebration if people turn up, and they like the songs and, they have a good time. And I'm playing with Chris Layhe, who's the bass player with Icicle Works. And is it a celebration? Yeah, hell, why not? It's like, when people turn up to hear the songs, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. And which are the songs that you've written that mean the most to you on an individual level, or is it a full repertoire that feels that way?
Well, you like some better than others, obviously. I, it's difficult to answer that one, really. Musicians love the latest thing they've done, but if I listen to or play Hollow Horse or When It All Comes Down, and it's and I think they are good songs.
Mm.
But I don't know. I really don't.
Do you know, Ian? This is, you're right. This is I've done over 170 odd podcasts, and I was I was a bit frightened, not the word, but I've been looking you up and I've been listening to your music, and what I think about you is you are incredibly unique, and I think maybe that is why you have the fan base that you do. That I can't. I was chatting to my daughter because she's always asking who's coming on the Godcast, and she was saying, "Well, what's his music like?" And it's like, well, it's. I was a bit like, well, it's a bit. He's a bit of a rebel song. He's a bit of a Bob Dylan, but then he's a bit, he's a bit. He can be a bit poppy, and I just couldn't put you in a box. How would you describe yourself as a musician, or your genre? What is it?
I'm chuffed to hear that. But you're asking me to
Yeah,
categorize.
I am. I am.
I've no idea, Alex. I haven't. I'm eclectic. I love. Probably one of the reasons why I haven't been more successful is because I'm just all over the place. I it's like 1 minute I love the Beach Boys, the next minute I love Led Zeppelin, the next minute I love, Nick Drake, the next minute I love Neil Young, the next minute I love the Penguin. I'm just that's where I am. Um, and and by the way, and one thing that people say is, and I've seen this with some great artists, it's like they can't believe that they're still. Even Paul McCartney said, "Can't believe I'm still getting away with it," and that's how I feel. I really do. It's I'm a fan who can. And I've got to open for so many great acts like Neil Young, Brian Wilson, and all of those guys. I can't. I honestly can't believe it. Um, I'm just so lucky.
Yeah, yeah. And are you an artist that looks back mainly at music, Ian, or do you hold an interest in music that's out there at the moment? Do you look for new artists yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that there can be anything more exciting than when you hear a new record by an unknown artist, and you go, wow, that's really great. And then you find it and you go online, and I love this thing on. I mean, I hate Spotify for what it does to
Hmm.
artists, but what I do like about it is it's got me into a load of stuff that I would never have found. And it goes, seeing as you like this, you may like this,
Yeah, yeah,
and I really love that. And I've got into so many artists from that. Yeah, always looking for the new thing, because the old thing was the new thing once, you know.
yeah. Are
Uh,
you a nostalgic individual, Ian? Do you I know you said you didn't particularly like talking about the breakup of the Icicle Works, but do you look back at that time with fondness? Your moment in the sun on top of the pops and things.
well, why wouldn't I? I was like 20 bloody two or something, and I was on top of the pops, and then we went and toured America, and it was fabulous.
Mm.
So, and have I got a problem with that? Absolutely not. Uh, ev everything that has happened to me since I picked up a guitar when I was 12 has been great. Honest to God, Alex, it's unbelievable. I've got to meet so many lovely people, and met so many supporters, and and can I just tell you something else? I'm good. You know it. and I know it. And I don't mean that in a, I know I wasn't very good the other day because I was not well and stuff. But, you know, you just put that down to health. You know, I was devastated because I couldn't do a good show. But most of the time, in fact, all of the time, it's great. And, you know, it's like, when you do a good show, when you make a good record and people look, I just like making people happy.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
You are good, Ian. You are. My dad was a jazz pianist, and I used to. I don't like jazz really, but I
some
loved.
of it's all right, isn't it?
I loved watching him. I just loved watching his fingers on the ivories, and I found myself when I did come and see you a few weeks back. I did find myself not so much watching your face, but your body language and the way that you were in relationship with the piano and the way you're in relationship with the guitar, and you are good, man. There's no denying that, and that is a wonderful.
That's very, very, very kind of you to say that. Thank you, Alex. That means a lot to me. It really does. And I do feel that way, you know. It's honest to goodness, Alex, I just can't believe that. I mean, I fell into it by accident, you know. I wanted to be, I hate war, but I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I didn't want to fight anyone, but I just liked the planes, you know. I loved the Supermarine Spitfire. That's kind of aviation was where I was headed. But I can't count, and I've got bad eyesight. So that you know, so it's like that was, and you know, coming from that generation of, you know, the Apollo moon landings and what have you, that was really exciting. You know, like my mum and dad get me out of bed when I was, oh, what was it, 69? So I would have been 8. Saying, come downstairs, we're about to land on the moon. And it was just mind blowing. But I was just not cut out to do that kind of thing. I probably could have been a half decent journalist because I'm good with language. I was rubbish at football. I was definitely not an athlete. And then music turned up, and it just gave me. I honestly don't know what I would have done without it. You know.
Mm. Well, I think you've got many fans out there who are glad that you chose music. You know, it's a bit like to me. It just listening to you. It's a love affair, really, isn't it? It's just a love affair that's just gone on forever.
A love affair, Alex, that will never end.
Yeah,
And thank goodness for that.
yeah. Ian, I've absolutely truly enjoyed chatting to you. It sounds like you've got a busy year ahead. I'm sure all your fans will be wishing you well and hope that you are restored to full health very quickly. And we're not far away in Burnley. I know got those beautiful dulcet Scouse tones still there, and you're over there, and just send you all our love and thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Alex, for having me on the show.